Okay, so now I think I'm gonna add this stencil, and I think I'm gonna put it up in through here. This is my hyacinth stencil. And what I realized in my daisy is that I really do like it better with using my palette knife to apply the paint to the stencil, just because I feel like it gets a much cleaner look. But you know, you can play around with either one. So because I don't want it to go over the daisy, I'm just gonna start from the edge of the daisy here. So I don't want to get any of it onto the daisy, right? So I'm just gonna start again with my palette knife. Gosh, it takes so much more paint with the palette knife, but I definitely think it's a much cleaner type of look this way. So I have this purple. I thought that that would be really nice with the other colors that I have happening. And I might just choose another color to kind of add into this purple. I always love a good magenta, so that let's use that in some different areas of the flower as well. If you use more than one shade of a similar color, what ends up happening is you are able to create a flower with a little bit more dimension, right? So just by adding that other color in to my flower in places, it's going to create dimension within my flower. So let's hope this doesn't stick too much. But look, it's perfect. And see, by just coming right up against the daisy, now it appears that this flower is behind the daisy. Does that make sense? So in all reality, I probably should have done the hyacinth first, and then I should have come back and added the daisy on top of it. Does that make sense? But I really like kind of the composition of this bouquet and how it's turning out. And I think that whenever you can make still life paintings, it's always good to create something that is not necessarily symmetrical. So by having these flower elements over here that are kind of more towards this side, and then the shadow coming down this way, it's creating a composition that allows your eye to sort of move through the piece, if that makes sense at all. So I recommend not doing everything like straight in the center and perfectly centered in the vase and all of those things, because it's not necessarily what you see when you look at a still life setup, right? And so I think that it makes for a much more interesting piece. So I'm thinking that I want another floral element over here. And I just want to show you something else that you can do. You don't have to use all the same, like you don't have to use stencils for every flower element that you are adding to your pieces. So, you know, I want to show you because one of my other favorite things to do is sort of just paint a flower, and then I like to come back and possibly add in the center of the flower with a stencil. And so let me show you how I might go about doing that. And I'm thinking over here that maybe I have, I don't know, a peony or it could be a number of different kinds of flowers, really, actually. So I'm painting over the water, which kind of makes me sad because I like that element, but maybe I'll just leave a touch of it showing right there. So I'm just doing kind of like a rounded type of shape here. I'm gonna add some of my white around the edges, and I always think it's important to have some blending between colors, especially in a flower like this. I might add some more purpley tones in the center. Okay. I just want a little bit more magenta. So now what I normally would do is completely let that dry. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it up for you guys. Since this is the very last part, I have my mask that is my Protoa mask here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to be using the center of my Protoa. So I'm gonna lay this where I want the center of that flower to be. And then I'm gonna choose like a yellow type color. I think I'm gonna use this golden yellow for the center of my flower here. So again, I don't like the brush for this part. I really want it to be kind of that raised textural type of quality for this. And I just am gently going to put my finger into it because I want to make sure that I get it down into my piece here. So I'm just taking this yellowy orange, and I'm just doing the center of the flower. It's kind of like I don't know what kind of flower it is, because I didn't paint the rest of it like a Protoa, but this could be any number of flowers. It could just be an abstract flower as well. So I am just gonna pull it up, and there you go. So really there are so many endless ways to use this Build Your Own Bouquet collection. There are so many endless ways that you could use it, right? And really just make it your own. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my palette knife with this thick, heavy body, and I'm just adding some flower petals just to keep it also a little bit more textural. And it's really just as simple as that. I can continue to add different elements to this piece. And probably what I would focus on now is just adding a little bit more greenery. Just kind of feel like this isn't quite the shape that I want it to be. So let me show you again really quickly. There's several different stencils you can use to add more greenery. You can again choose some of the parts to the vase stencil. Okay, so to continue to build this piece, I would actually consider using another stencil. So I could actually use this, the vase stencil, some more, and I could just pick and choose some of the leaf shapes from my vase stencil. So I might do that just like this. I just don't want to put it back into this flower that I just painted. So I'm probably just gonna kind of hold it up just like that. Let's see. Just trying to decide what color I want first. So I'm gonna just grab, this is a phyllo green blue. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of that, and then I think I'm just gonna do one leaf shape in here. So again, I want my palette knife. Actually, I might do a few more than just one. So just pull up like that. Oh my gosh, I love that, you guys. Look at how cool that is. It's so much fun. And then this one is also one of my favorites in this collection. It's this greenery stencil, and I think that this one is really lovely to just, you know, use even just by itself. But again, I am wanting to sort of build my bouquet here, and I would actually probably just add this coming up right in through here. I just don't know. I should probably wait until the paint is dry completely, but I'm just gonna do it anyways. So I am just kind of holding it half on and half off here, because it's gonna kind of get in the way. And I need more paint. So I'm just gonna put it on my stencil. And I don't want to compete, I don't want to go over the daisy that I have happening. So I'm just going to come up again right to the very edge. And just get my green filled in the top part of the stencil. And just like that, I have some more greenery. And again, I love that color and how it's contrasting with some of the other colors that I have happening in this piece. But you don't have to use more than one green if you don't want to. But actually, I feel like the only thing that I would do to finish this piece off all the way is just add in just another one of these, like the stems. I want some of this color also down in through here. So I might just take my palette knife and just add some more shapes like that, or you can use your brush. You might actually have a little bit more control with a brush. But see, that kind of almost just finishes off the piece. It creates some more dimension in the vase. And that's it, you guys. I am so happy with how this still life piece turned out, and I hope that you are inspired to build your own bouquets with this collection of stencils. Thanks so much for joining me.